Ford is in trouble. They can't seem to sell these trucks and SUVs. And what's going on? Well, let's dive right into the conversation. What we're looking at here is a whole raft of pickup trucks. And Ford, I mean, this is coming out at a time that couldn't be any worse. Clearly, people are struggling to keep employed. People are struggling with the cost of living. And then, of course, these manufacturers keep jacking up prices. Let's take a quick look over here. We're looking at some fleets, but let's take a quick look at this sticker over here and see what this F-150 is all about. What we have here is a basic F-150, and the sticker there is $68,000. That's pretty substantial. And this is a pretty dressed down looking unit. We're talking about an XLT, so it's not base by any means, but it definitely doesn't have all the furnishings and finishings. It's quite clearly a more base model. How about something like over there, the 1-ton? We have a Super Duty right here. And let's look at the sticker on this one. And the sticker here we're looking at is a Super Duty. It's a 23 model year. So again, just like we saw with some of the other manufacturers, they're still dealing with 23 model years. Well, we're in 23, but you've got to know that by 24 is right around the corner, and they still have 23 model years. Now, these are fleets, so they'll sell anyway. They'll probably go to rental companies or construction companies. This one here lists at almost $78,000. Not cheap for basically a truck that has a basic thin carpet on there and cloth seats and the basics. I mean, there's really not much dressed up here. This is a pretty base looking truck. And fleet trucks themselves aren't the ones that are the struggles with. It's the retail market that I think is going to be the struggle. But specifically, there's a couple of models that are really hurting. Now here's another truck. Let's check out the sticker on this one here. This one looks a little more dressed up. We have a Super Duty. This one does look a little more polished than that work truck. We have nicer wheels. This is a 350 Lariat. Of course, this is more dressed up. And what we're looking at is Super Duty here, and it's listed on $107,000. And further damage comes in the way of retail sales because of certain vehicles that just aren't selling. I mean, take a look right here. We have the Ford F-150 Tremor. That is an absolutely cool truck. I mean, you've got the dual pipes there, big hitch, but it looks very nicely dressed up. Very cool indeed. They've got great wheels. Love the styling on this vehicle. Looks way more aggressive. Nice handles, easy to access. It's a beautiful truck inside. And even look around here, all the decals and logos. This is a gorgeous looking ride. I mean, these trucks just aren't selling, but let's take a look at some of the models that really aren't selling all that well. And that's really struggling, with their bottom line, which of course couldn't happen at a worse time with inflation, cost of living, and the fact that now UAW, the United Auto Workers, are actually going on strike, and it's not looking optimistic. Oh, look at this beautiful truck. We have a Tremor here. Let's take a look at this sticker and see how much this vehicle is. Well, we're looking here, and I'm looking at an F-150. This is a 2023. It actually has the 3.5 liter V6 EcoBoost, and it's pretty decked out, as you can see. But it's listed at $92,000. I mean, who can afford trucks like that these days? And that's only an F-150. We're not talking about a Super Duty towing, the toys. This is literally just more of a giddy up and go kind of a hobby truck, really. And over here's another F-150. This one here is nice. It's a Lariat F-150. Looking at the sticker, yeah, you're basically at $88,000 for this truck as well. That's a lot of money for a pickup truck. I mean, again, you're in BMW territory or Audi. Like, these are quite expensive. And so people needing a truck for work are going to maybe opt out buying used or possibly look at something more lower key. These are quite pricey. And so here's one of those vehicles that Ford's struggling with right now, and they've gone full EV with this particular model. We're talking a Mustang Mach-E. It's a beautiful vehicle, and a lot of people love them. Those who like it love them. But unfortunately, these have actually been a big reason for some of the lacking success recently. They just aren't selling. And there's another beautiful one, spec'd out nicely. They're great looking, but the unfortunate part, they're not selling, mainly because they're pricey. And if you're going to buy an electric vehicle, what's the vehicle that most people end up going for or opting for? In most cases, people are looking at a Tesla, and it's going to be a hard uphill battle for a lot of these manufacturers to challenge Tesla because they are the pioneers. Ford's trying it, but they're not selling a whole lot of these models. And unfortunately, the Ford Lightning's not faring all that well either. But the reality is now they're actually expanding a $1.8 billion facility in Ontario to actually expand out their electric vehicle plant expansion. Of course, that's the plans to go next level. However, because they've been so slumped, now Ford's sort of under the breath actually openly admitting that they're looking more at hybrid and maybe not skipping on the EV and leaving those for the power hungry folks, but the hybrids, making them more available for the mainstream because they know those are more palatable and more people are likely going to buy hybrid vehicles. Of course, it's always a challenge if you're dealing with range anxiety, which speaks to the point. Did you know the CEO of Ford there took a Lightning out for a road trip and realized pretty quickly what range anxiety meant? He actually found out the hard way in some cases. So allegedly, there's some challenges there with that as well. So either way, range anxiety and the reality of electric vehicles being off the grid is a real challenge. Hence the new hybrid approach. Now the UAW strike is likely to occur, and not only is it going to impact Ford, likely it's going to take the big three, GM, Stellantis, as well as Ford, and sadly that's going to hit them hard in the bottom line. Now, for those people that clearly need that extra cost of living adjustment, that's just the way life goes these days, so that's cool. But they're estimating that total sum to be in the neighborhood of $80 billion. Then we also couple that on the back that they're further developing the EV process, and they're paying out for a vehicle they have as a bad rollover, and they're still paying out for some bad incidents as well as recalls that have been hanging on. So the reality is Ford's dishing out left, right, and center, and as a result, stock prices aren't going to look so rosy to the shareholders. So I'll hand it to Ford. They're very innovative, aluminum bodies, the turbo sixes. They're doing some great things. I love the styling of the Ford pickup trucks, but the reality is prices are high. So this might be a case of wait it out a little bit and see where the market goes in 6 months, 12 months. I think you'll find there'll be more incentives. There'll be more opportunities for that. Well, I hope that helped each and every one of you. Sharing that information to make you stronger, smarter, better, and as well save some money in your car purchasing experience. All I ask, show me a little bit of love. Free subscribe, just hit it down there. Costs you nothing, but you might be able to get to see the next video, which will likely to help you if you're in the car shopping. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.